Lena, how you doing? Good to see you. How you been, Lena? Lena, I haven't forgotten yet. I'm finishing off the PDF to send to you. And to send inside a Telegram as well regarding Tangier. Tor, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, how you been? Butch, good to see you as well, brother. How you been? George, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Freedom Faber, good to see you as well. Evening, how you doing? How you been? Cass, good to see you as well. How you doing? Up, down, or sideways? Well, regarding up, down, or sideways, what are we talking on just the XRP or the entire market? The entire market, yesterday I told you it's because it's all over the place. I said it's going to be sideways. I said maybe down, but sideways in this case. I would still go for that aspect on sideways. A little bit down, but sideways in general. Instead of XRP is leading its way. Good evening, Miles and all CMF. JP, good to see you as well. How you doing? Manny, good to see you as well. How you doing? Mike, good to see you as well. How you doing? Much appreciated. Let's go, Lena. Hi, Miles and CMF. Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? Joe, good to see you as well. How you doing? BTC and alts in general, sideways still. A little bit down sideways, but hi, Miles and family. Troy, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, I'll do a gist of what we're going to be talking about on tonight's live show. And then by that time, after the intro, disclaimer, everyone's tuned in for the first part of the live show. And WBXRP. On XRP, by the looks of it, it's doing quite well for itself. Now, on tonight's live show, we're going to go through some mixture of essentially news to go through, a mixture of news to go through. So the first part of the live show, we're going to go through crypto trading firm Cumberland essentially secures a New York BIT license. New York is becoming a bit more lenient towards cryptocurrencies, which is good in terms of the Wall Street being there. We're also going to be going through regarding Coinbase news, regarding the pack that Coinbase created alongside Ripple and a few other companies to bring more politicians inside the cryptocurrency space. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding Tether. Tether is launching a synthetic dollar on tokenization platform, even for the retail section, not just institutions. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding David Hirsch, who has left the SEC after leading the crypto asset unit for a very long time. And we're also going to talk about regarding David Hirsch from another perspective as well on tonight's live show. We're also going to talk about Bitcoin as safe as heaven, is what BlackRock CEO essentially exposes. Essentially, BlackRock CEO said, and a few other comments that came out of Larry Fink as well regarding the G7 countries and so on. We'll go through the perspective of BlackRock as well in the market space. We're also going to talk about the Chinese telecom giant that essentially is coming inside the Bitcoin mining institution sector. As I previously revealed on this live show, it doesn't seem like China is completely, banned Bitcoin mining. There is actually Bitcoin mining happening on the down low in China in some province. And now there's a giant, essentially Chinese telecom company coming out of nowhere and acquiring quite a lot of Bitcoin mining equipment. On this live show, we're also going to talk about regarding the Philadelphia Fed president who has came out on his perspectives on market rate cuts. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding the crypto pack that was created and how it's endorsed another 18 more candidates have joined the crypto sector essentially. On tonight's live show, we're also going to be talking about Elon Musk and the Everything app regarding X, some updates we're going to go through. We're also going to be talking about XRP, obviously, on tonight's live show as well, due to the market movements happening. We're also going to be talking about Michael Saylor's new perspective on the market space. And we're also going to be talking about Ethiopia and how they're taking their first steps towards CBDCs. On yesterday's live show, I reviewed quite a lot of jurisdictions going to cross-border payments in terms of China and Italy. 17 banks from Italy, they're pretty much green-lighted. China is getting ready. Their testings are pretty much done in terms of cross-border payments with Hong Kong back and forward. A lot of things happening in that sector. And a new type of unusual news to go through towards the end of the live show regarding AI and the United Kingdom government. So, mixture of news to go through on tonight's live show regarding the XRP news, the AI news, the essentially political news for cryptocurrencies, the perspective news, Tether launching a new platform, a lot of things happening in different jurisdictions, and also a cryptocurrency license that's happening in New York. So quite a lot of things to go through on tonight's live show, mixture of news. But before we go through any of that, let's do the intro of the live show first, then we do the disclaimer, then the comment section, and then the first news. So, Welcome to the CMF Live Show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF Live Show. On this live show, every single night you can tune in. This is episode 90. And I talk about recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, regulations, and politics. Everything you should know, especially going into this digital era. And I also do Q&As on this live show as well, which means if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment sections, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. If you're wondering who am I to be answering people's questions, I have a background in business, finance, tech, law, and cybersecurity. Also run a blockchain startup company. I have executives around me from different exchanges and platforms, and so on. So, if you're new, welcome to the CMF Live Show. If you're regular, let's go CMF. And the disclaimer of this live show is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So, welcome to the CMF Live Show. If you're new and if you're regular, let's go CMF. The live show has officially started now. Before we go through the first news, which is regarding New York, we're going to go through the comment section first, and then we go to the first news. So, let's see where we were. Harry, good to see you as well. How you doing? I was here. JP, XRP, let's go. Addy, hi Miles and all CMF. Good to see you as well. Addy, how you doing? Hey Miles and CMF, hope you had a good day. Solomon, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Morning all. Hope you're well, Miles. Doing good. Let's go, Shelly. Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning. I think I'm a bit ill, but I'm doing good. What is the lowest you think BTC goes before we go up? Interesting question regarding what do I think is going to be the lowest point of BTC before we go up. The main issue is we're not going to see a deep low in BTC. Even if we do see BTC drastically drop, which it won't happen, I'll tell you why. But even if we do see some odd reasoning of Bitcoin doing a drastic drop, it will get scooped up very quickly by somebody named by the name of Michael Saylor. Who's got $700 million ready to dive deep into BTC pretty much at any price point. But in terms of Bitcoin doing drastic drops, the issue is there's too many corporates holding and not selling. That's what the issue arises from. We're not going to be seeing a massive low on Bitcoin anytime soon. We'll see lows and speed bumps and so on, but not a drastic drop in any sort of a way, from my perspective, unless the corporates do a coordinated movement of selling. But the thing is, as Grayscale does outflows, the BlackRock BTC ETF essentially does inflows that matches the outflows of Grayscale, which doesn't make it do a drastic drop. And BlackRock is doing new, essentially, levels. Every time we hear it on the news, BlackRock is doing milestones after milestones. So yeah, that's why. We won't see drastic drops from my perspective unless it's a coordinated movement inside the corporate sector. But for the time being, they're buying and holding. So no drastic drops, but some lows here and there. Which month do you think it will be when BTC starts to move up, preparing for a big run? I think next month. Next month, we're going to see the market start moving. But this month is also a lot of things happening as well. But next month, essentially, is the ETF for Ethereum as well, which is a verdict that's going to be coming out. If it gets green-lighted, essentially to what Eric said. So Eric, the ETF analyst specialist from Bloomberg, and Eric has been correct so far with all the ETF news. His insider sources from Bloomberg were pretty much accurate. He was the first one to guess the exact timeline for the BTC ETFs when everybody else was saying it's not going to happen. Eric predicted a particular date it would happen, and it did. And then Eric said the ETF for Ethereum will happen, and a lot of people doubted Eric again, and it did happen. Eric's came out with his new response that July 2nd is pretty much what we're looking at for the approvals of the Ethereum ETF. And, Gary Gensler does have quite a lot of political pressure around him as well. So the closer we get to that target as well. Also, the closer we get to the end of this month, because the end of this month is quite crucial as well for the MiCA regulations. The MiCA regulations obviously are coming out the end of this month, which is quite crucial for EU citizens and the entire EU market space. And it turns out also that OKX is not the only exchange delisting USDT. Uphold is also delisting USDT as well. Messi put a comment, as in he put my name on X for me to look at some news that came up. And yeah, Uphold is also delisting USDT for EU citizens, which also leads to the news of why Ripple is also going up. XRP is going up slightly, doing movements of its own, because USDT looks like it's about to lose its market space in the EU, which is one of the biggest market spaces. Hence why XRP is doing quite better as well, because there's that brewing news of the Ripple essentially US dollar coming out on the XRP ledger. But not only that, we'll go through the news regarding XRP market movements, but also not just the stablecoin coming up, but the case coming to an end is another section because of what Brad said and so on. But end of this month is going to be crucial. So end of this month, we have to see, the closer we get to the end of this month, we're going to see market movements happening. But even next month, we should be seeing some sort of market movements happening as well, based on the verdict of the Ethereum ETFs, or some sort of news outcome regarding cases. That will be the biggest burst. But end of this month, MiCA regulations was quite a big deal. It's going to definitely be structuring the market forward regarding the EU. Good evening, Brother Miles and the CMF. Thank you, brother. Good to see you as well. How you doing? So I would consider it as an outcome, not the outcome, but an outcome definitely. Camel, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Hey, CMF and Miles. Stormy, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been, Stormy? Hello, Miles and CMF. Coin, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? What up, Miles and family? Ray, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, the first news we're going to be going through on tonight's live show is regarding New York. New York, basically Wall Street, let's just say in that sense. A lot of things actually happening in New York. New York was slightly bearish towards cryptocurrencies, slightly bearish. They have green-lighted quite a lot of corporates and going inside the crypto sector, which is a good thing to see. But they weren't that easy to get a license from, essentially from other platforms. So, first news of the live show. The crypto trading firm Cumberland secures a New York BIT license. That is not easy to do. New York is not very easy to get a crypto license from. In a recent research report, JP Morgan revealed that the combined market cap, obviously, of US listed BTC mining companies reached an all-time high of $22.8 billion. And the Wall Street banks highlighted that almost all the companies outperformed Bitcoin during the first half of June. Core Scientifics and emerged as top performers, surging by 117% from algo blockchains and dropping by 7%. The report attributed the gains in Bitcoin stocks to positive investor sentiments following Core Scientific deals and artificial intelligence core Weave, and additionally mining difficulties essentially decreasing some the rewards halved in April. Now, analysts Regan Smith and Charles Pierce noted that the frame and hash rates and indicators of industry competitions and mining difficulties decreased by approximately 7 hash rates per second and so on. US listed Bitcoin miners have been increasing their share. This is the reason why New York has greenlighted this platform. US listed Bitcoin miners have been increasing their shares on the global network hash rates. The 14 companies analyzed now for accounts for approximately 23.8% of the global hash rates, marking a new increase from previous months. Though this risk essentially is the second consecutive month of the network hash rates gains for US miners, which is the bank's views as well as a positive side. The report suggests that insufficient private operators have been scaling back their operations since the halving, allowing more efficient publicly listed miners to increase their market shares. Overall, the performance of the US listed Bitcoin miners and the increase in their network hash rates share indicated a landscape in the Bitcoin industry for a public company takings. And the reasons of the crypto company being green-lighted in New York and getting a BIT license essentially to operate is because, one, the Bitcoin mining institutions are essentially doing quite well for themselves, with essentially Marathon Digital back-to-back acquiring new companies to expand on their range, and also backed by BlackRock as well. But also the momentum that the crypto sector is right now picking up from also the political aspects is the reason why another platform has just been greenlighted in New York to create an adoption rate happening for BTC and other cryptocurrencies. So that is positive news that's happening in New York, because believe me, New York is not easy to get any sort of license from. We've seen that happen in the past with quite a lot of major players. The only platforms New York easily greenlighted essentially was Goldman Sachs crypto platform that was only for institutional partners. Now, Coinbase. Coinbase rolls out a pre-launch crypto markets for global traders. Coinbase is doing definitely some movements for a global adoption rate to happen for Coinbase. I've said this previously and I'll say it again. Coinbase will become slowly, over time, the number one crypto platform out there. So if you are in Coinbase shares, if you're holding Coinbase shares, you're going to do pretty well for yourself. I'm not the only one that sees a major future for Coinbase shares. A lot of people also do see a major future for Coinbase. But who even sees a bigger future for Coinbase essentially is South Korea. South Korea's pension funds are heavily invested into Coinbase's shares. So even South Korea, which is one of the biggest pension funds on this planet, private company, one of the biggest pension funds on this planet, they are also invested from South Korea into Coinbase shares. So I've said this before and I'll say it again, Coinbase is definitely going to become a number one exchange. I'm going to go through of what Coinbase is just about to be rolling out on a global scale. But before we do that, let's go inside the comment section first. Brother, at least give me a range for the lowest point of BTC. In your opinion, a humble opinion. Like, for example, 55.60, I want to know your opinion in terms of number side. Thanks, bro. I would say, yeah, what you stated, 55.60 seems reasonable. Pierce, even in miles of CMF, good to see as well how you doing. But I would say, yeah, what you stated on 55.60 seems reasonable. So, Coinbase. Coinbase has introduced a new trading feature on its international and advanced platforms that enables traders to engage on markets for cryptocurrencies not yet available on spot exchanges. This new service, dubbed Pre-Launch Markets, allows both institutionals and retail participants to trade on futures contracts on upcoming tokens, offering a unique speculation of opportunity prior to its official launch. Accessible exclusively to non-US users. So if you're all inside the United States, it's not really available. This service is tailored for users outside the United States, Canada, and the UK, catering especially to eligible institutional clients through Coinbase International and retail traders via Coinbase Advanced. This initiative follows Coinbase's strategy to provide a diverse and an innovative trading solutions responding to the growing demand for more sophisticated crypto investment tools. So, Coinbase essentially is aiming for essentially the EU in slight movements. They're aiming for the EU. They're aiming for essentially Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Australia, and so on, and Dubai and so on. As the first of these pre-launches listings went live this Monday, so today they went live, participants now have the potential to influence price discovery for new projects significantly. Unlike regular futures, these pre-launch projects employ a 4-hour experimental moving cost average of the token's mark price to calculate the pre-launch index price. This method helps stabilize price volatility and provides a clearer picture of the market expectations, enhanced safety measures, and trading conditions. Recognizing the high risk nature of these markets, Coinbase has implemented several safety measures. Unlike the typical 10x leverage found in standard petrol futures, pre launch markets are restricted to a 2x leverage maximum with a $50,000 position limit. This conservative approach aims to mitigate the risk associated with high volatility and liquidity issues inherent in pre launch essentially phases. Furthermore, these markets are excluded from Coinbase's liquidity support program, LSP, marking them a prone to unique risks like higher volatility and increased liquidation risks. Participants are also urged to approach these opportunities with caution, as these markets also carry a higher risk of auto-deleveraging compared to standard futures. Coinbase also additions to the pre-launch of markets trading in its positive developments for the expansion of opportunities for traders in the crypto space. So, Coinbase is expanding worldwide now. They're moving beyond just the US market space, beyond just Canada's market space and the UK market space. They're aiming on a global basis, which is a good move to do for Coinbase. Definitely. It's also good for anybody holding Coinbase shares, to be honest. With Coinbase going on a global basis, not just for the retail section, but also for the institutional section, going on a global basis, that is positive news. One, it grows the rate of cryptocurrencies in terms of adoption rate because it brings more eyes on cryptocurrencies, and Coinbase, gives that easy access. I've always said if you do want to, go into your first steps of cryptocurrencies, Coinbase is pretty much the easiest platform you can use. If you want to go a bit more advanced, you could go to Binance and beyond, for example. But yeah, one, this is bullish news for Coinbase shares. Two, this brings more eyes to the crypto space. On that aspect is also bullish. And three, it brings more institutions as well, which is also a bullish sign. Because as we all know, institutions have all the money. So, Tether. is the next news we're going to go for on tonight's live show. Tether is launching a synthetic dollar on tokenization platform. Tether is launching a tokenization platform that not only is it available to essentially the institutional side, but also to the retail side. You can start tokenizing things with Tether, is what they're launching. We're going to go through that, but before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Okay, thanks, man. No problem. Casting time. Hey family, let's give Miles a thumbs up for all his hard work. Let's go, Troy. Thanks so much for the kind words. Even Miles on CMF. Semper, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles on CMF. Orphan, good to see you as well. How you doing? Joe, thank you for the thumbs up. And Troy, thank you for the thumbs up as well. So, Tether launches a synthetic dollar on tokenization platforms in a potentially game-changing development for the world of digital assets. Tether, the issuer of the popular stablecoin USDT, revealed intentions to make its tokenization platform accessible to the public. Now, is this because Tether has seen no movements coming in from institutions? Because Tether originally launched their platform for essentially institutions. Tether launched their tokenization platform for institutions. But for an odd reason, they decided to open up their tokenization platform to also the retail section, hoping to get maybe retail momentum coming in because the tokenization side for Tether is not working out well for them. Who knows? Or they just want to expand on both sides. So, in the potentially game-changing development for the world of digital assets, Tether, the issuer of popular stablecoin USDT, revealed intentions to make its tokenization platform accessible to the public. The news delivered by Tether's CEO in an X post has sparked considerable attention and reignited debates about the company's previous regulatory strain. The CEO also revealed that individuals will have the ability to create fresh tokens through the company's latest platform. So you can produce your own tokens. Tokenization is actually tokenizing your own products through Tether's latest platform, available to the retail section as well. An integral component of Tether's forthcoming tokenization initiative. He mentioned that Alloy by Tether is a transparent platform designed for producing collateralized synthetic digital assets. I'll be honest, it's the first thing Tether has produced that might be considered transparent. He highlighted that users will maintain control over their tokenized assets, alleviating worries associated with centralized platforms. Furthermore, the platform will support multiple blockchains, allowing users to select the technology for tokenization. I'm highly doubtful they're going to be accepting XRP regarding Tether. Tether and Ripple do not get along, especially since that Ripple is going to be launching their own stablecoin. And obviously, Ripple's CEO, Brad, saying that Tether's been looked into by governments, and then Tether's CEO coming out on X and saying, why are you spreading lies to Ripple's CEO and so on, which Ripple's CEO is not spreading lies. Tether is definitely being looked into. I mean, the US Treasury mentioned them more than once. Now, additionally, the platform aims to tokenize unconventional assets like loyalty programs and provide users with extensive customizations options based on preferences. He also hinted that Alloy will be integrated into the upcoming Tether digital assets tokenization platform scheduled for launch this year. Tokenized gold for crypto payments on Alloy. The newly introduced platform Alloy on the Ethereum network will allow users to produce tokens backed by Tether's tokenized gold, XAUT. The platform's first asset, AUSDT, is pegged to the US dollar. Investors can now mint AUSDT by using Tether's XAUT as collateral. XAUT, backed by physical gold in Switzerland, holds about $570 million market cap. That is minuscule compared to what Tether is actually holding. So I'm hoping that Tether genuinely does have the assets they claim to have, because if all they have is $570 million in a Switzerland bank, that's not good. But for clarification, a AUSDT token targets users who want to use crypto for payments without selling their gold-backed tokens. The position requires over-collateralizations, allowing users to mint new tokens up to 75% of the collateral value. So, Tether is launching a new platform called Alloy, where the retail section, or essentially the corporate section, can create their own tokens. A tokenized token, essentially, is what you'll be producing on Tether's Alloy platform. Now, why has Tether all of a sudden given this platform, the retail aspect to it as well? The only indication of why Tether would, make this platform available to the retail section is because they need momentum. I'm guessing Tether launched it hoping the institutions would jump, through the windows and doors on this new platform Tether is launching called Alloy. I'm guessing Tether didn't get the response it needed from the institutional side. Therefore, Tether decided, how about this? We'll make it open to the retail section as well, just to get the momentum going, is what it really looks like, to be honest. But, in general, still bullish news. It creates adoption rate. Wish Tether the best. Hope they do very well for themselves. And if you do want to tokenize your platform, Tether has a new platform called Alloy. Now, David Hirscher essentially leaves SEC after leading the crypto asset unit. That is a big news right now spreading, that a lead asset from the SEC has left. The old saying that I always say regarding Gary Gensler, because, he's not the only one that's left the SEC. I've been doing this live show for over a year now, over a year and a half now. Every single night I've been doing this live show, and I've shared so much news from the SEC for over a year and a half now. And we've talked about so many people leaving the SEC. So many people have left the SEC. And that's why I always, when I read an article title that states another high profile member has left the SEC, I always say the famous quote, which is, and then there was one, which is just basically Gary Gensler. Is because every time it's somebody leaving the SEC, it's always high profile. It's none of the random lawyers that worked on the lower departments of the SEC, because the SEC has quite a lot of employees. It's always the higher profile ones that are leaving, and ironically joining the crypto sector. All of the people that left the SEC have joined crypto platforms or crypto law firms, which just goes against everything Gary Gensler has said. Except this man, but this man seems a bit odd. And we'll go through what his perspective is moving forward. And he's been with the SEC for over 9 years, so it is quite a long time as the head asset. But before we go through that, let's start the conversation first. Does Alloy provide over-collateralized stablecoins? Yes. So Leroy, Alloy gives you the option to back yourself with XAUT, which is the token that's a gold, essentially a token that's backed by gold that Tether is storing in Switzerland, which is about $570 million. Tell Tether the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the rich, for the righteous. Let's go, Stormy. Facts. Now, David Hirsch leaves SEC after leading the crypto asset unit. David Hirschi, a senior figure inside the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission oversight of cryptocurrencies, announced his departure today. For nearly 9 years, Hirschi essentially served as the head of the crypto assets and cyber unit within the SEC, in a division of enforcements. In his farewell message, posted just after his final day, Hirschi expressed pride in the groundbreaking accomplishments of his team. He emphasized the collaborative efforts to lead these successes, highlighting the shared dedication to achieving their objectives. This man has just left the SEC and is very proud of what the SEC has achieved so far. I don't know what the SEC has achieved so far because they haven't achieved jack squat. I was about to swear. The SEC hasn't achieved jack squat at all. I mean, they haven't won a case. The only case they won was the Terraform Labs case. A major case was Terraform Labs case. But that's just because Do Kwon didn't turn up to court. So the judge just ruled in favor of the SEC. During his tenure, Hirschi played a pivotal role as the SEC's main enforcer in cryptocurrency exchanges and decentralized finance. So he was the top tool inside the SEC, enforcing Gary Gensler's words. He acknowledged the challenges posed by the SEC's extensive workload, noting that while they couldn't pursue every case, they remained committed to pursuing those deemed to violate security laws. This man who's leaving the SEC, good riddance, because this man is more deluded than Gary Gensler himself. This man actually said that the SEC, while I was in the SEC and in charge of my own team, we went after the ones that deemed to be securities. The SEC, first of all, when the SEC says deemed to be securities or violate securities laws, it's not really a law in any sort of a way. It's not a legal, standard that they can use inside the court scene. It's just something the SEC throws around. Second, what cases have you won that you deem to violate security laws? Because as far as I remember, your major case, which is against Ripple was deemed not a security. He honestly sounds more deluded than Gary Gensler. So good riddance is left. David Hirsch mentioned, I am deeply indebted to many mentors. I don't know if he's saying Gary Gensler on that basis, leaders and colleagues and friends to name here. And that includes amazing partners across state, federal, and international regulators and law enforcement. Looking ahead, Horatio did not disclose his plans, but hinted at the forthcoming updates. His departure marks the end of an era categorized by significant strides in regulating digital assets and combating cyber threats under his leadership. They achieved jack squat again, honestly. Under his efforts, the debit box case situation pretty much happened, where two SEC lawyers went and lied to a judge and then couldn't provide evidence of any sorts. Then those two SEC lawyers had to leave the SEC, and the SEC department that those two lawyers came from shut down, and all the cases were sent to another SEC department. So I don't know what he's talking about in terms of. This is why I say this man sounds more deluded than Gary Gensler. And I'll be honest, I thought that was difficult to achieve. I genuinely thought, it is quite difficult to achieve and find somebody else that's more deluded than Gary Gensler. But this man fits the profile. It essentially fits the profile. Throughout his message, Hiroshi conveyed gratitude for opportunities to contribute to the SEC's mission and recognized the collective efforts that underpinned their achievements. His departure from the SEC signals a transition yet to be unveiled, promising further developments in his professional journey. I hope he stays jobless. This man achieved absolutely nothing in the SEC. Not just this man, the SEC has achieved absolutely nothing so far. So I hope he just remains jobless. The further he is from a role like the SEC or the CFTC, the better it is for the cryptocurrency space. Honest opinion. The further this man stays away from cryptocurrencies and regulations, the better it is. Now, ex-SEC. So, regarding this man, or in JP's words, Gary's first cousin, regarding David Horatio, the moment he left the SEC, rumors started to spread inside the cryptocurrency space, where people inside the cryptocurrency space and one cryptocurrency platform tweeted out saying, basically, so when David Horatio, the former chief of the Crypto Asset and Cyber Unit, the SEC Securities and Exchange Commission Enforcement Division, essentially has denied reports claiming he would join the Pump and Fun. There's a crypto platform by the name of Pump.Fun, and they only do meme coins. Okay, so there's a crypto platform, it's called Pump.Fun. I think the fun part should be dump, pump and dump, but they put it as Pump and Fun. So Pump and Fun took the opportunity to tweet out that David Horatio has left the SEC and is now on the board executive as one of the essentially, and now is one of the board executive members of Pump and Fun for meme coins. So David Horatio had to come out and essentially say that nope, he has not joined any sort of pump and dumps. This platform allows users to create cryptocurrency tokens despite initial reports suggesting his imminent essentially appointment as the head of trading at Pump.Fun. Horatio has categorically refuted these claims. And after announcing his departure from the SEC after nearly 9 years, the speculations arose about Horatio's next career move. Binance News, for example, reported that he would join Pump.Fun as well as a trading director, fueling rumors and excitements within the crypto community. However, Horatio swiftly dismissed these claims, stating these are false. I have not announced my next role yet, but it is not with this or any other meme coin platform. So that rules out meme coins, but not cryptocurrencies. So he might be one of those SEC members that joins cryptocurrency platforms as well. There's quite a lot of them. In an unconventional move, Pump.Fun embraced the news and announced that Horatio had joined as a trading of its head. The platform claimed that Horatio realized his work was no longer fulfilling and that he had to start a new chapter. Pump.Fun also stated a meme lord at heart, David will be charge of Pump.Fun new internal trading desk. The crypto space regarding the meme coin section is they're quick, they're extremely fast. So the news sparked essentially mixed reactions within the crypto community, with some users questioning the validity of the reports while others embraced the news. One user even joked about that Pump.Fun should have gone for Gary Gensler instead. People actually saw the news and said, wow, David Horatio has actually joined the meme coin section, as if that was even logical. But people were commenting that Pump.Fun should have hired Gary Gensler instead, referring to the current SEC chairman. And interesting enough, 17 David Horatio tokens were created at the pump after the news.fun site. So, the moment Gary's first cousin, in JP's words, was leaving the SEC, Binance released an article essentially saying that David Horatio is joining Pump.Fun. Now, by Binance, I mean that Binance has a news section where they have their own creators. And one of those creators created a news that said David Horatio is now working for Pump.Fun. Pump.Fun took the opportunity to go on X and tweet out that said, yes, we've hired David Horatio. He's one of the board members and executives for tradings and so on. And that spilled so much. So, if you see that news spreading around right now inside the crypto sector, please be aware, David Horatio from the SEC, the man that worked 9 years in the SEC, is not joining a pump and dump platform called Pump.Fun. So please don't be swept into some random tokens named David Horatio or SEC or so on if you see them later on tonight. He's not working for Pump.Fun. And the creator that from Binance that created the news, I don't know who that person is, but it definitely fueled some speculation in that category. So please beware. He's not working for Pump.Fun. There's no meme coin coming out from the SEC and so on. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is Bitcoin as safe haven. Bitcoin as a safe haven. Coming from BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink. We're going to go through Larry Fink's perspective, but before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Good evening. What coins? Oh, sorry. Let's see where we were. Okay. Good evening. What coins are hot right now to buy? Long terms is what you should be going to. Look, Praise Toy. How you doing? Evening. Praise Toy. The market in general depends on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from the retail perspective right now, if you look at it from a retail perspective, the market space, then what you should be going towards is high risk, assets, so meme coins and so on. If you want to look at the market from a corporate perspective, then you should be looking at it in terms of financial projects that are getting momentum right now because of the contracts. Because the main purpose of cryptocurrencies was utility. I'm obviously going towards the financial projects. I've always been towards the financial projects. So there's a lot of momentum happening in terms of the corporate sector. So you should be aiming for financial projects rather than those ones. So the long-term projects, XRP, XLM, XTC, and so on, major things are brewing right now based on the contracts and based on the case. Adi, good to see you. Does Ally provide? Oh no, we were here. Gary's going to be one-man pony show. Good evening, Miles and all CMF. Iman, good to see you. How you doing? How's everyone doing today? Good to see you, Iman. They did a lot, Miles. Lol, lied, cheat, abused the law, etc. Which is facts. They have definitely. That's Gary's first cousin. Lol. Evening, Miles and CMF. Jason, good to see you. How you doing? Toncoin, good investment, long term or not? Yes, and by the way, Toncoin is a great project as well. Let's see where this person was. Yeah, Praise Toy. Look into Toncoin as well. Don't buy it, not financial advice, research wise. Everybody's fixated on Solana and Base. Nobody's looking at Ton. Now, it said yesterday, Ton, Telegram, 900 million users. Solana and Base would dream of having 900 million users. And Ton has that capability because it's the only chain going to be used by Telegram. And Telegram is going to become an everything app. And the chain was designed and developed by Telegram themselves, dropped because the SEC was about to sue them. Later on, picked back up as a partner, as a loophole, so they don't get sued by the SEC. So Ton is definitely one project to look into. Ton went from the top 50 project to a top 10 project essentially, and I told everyone when Ton launched, Telegram was behind it, 900 million users. Honestly, the majority of top 20 crypto projects would dream of having 900 million users, and Ton already has that access. Jason, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? What are the main reasons why you consider CFX and ACH good projects to invest in? The main reasons I suggest ACH is a good project is based essentially on the contracts. ACH has more contracts to their name than the majority of the crypto space. It's not the only one that has a lot of contracts because there are other projects as well, XOP, Ripple Labs, XOP, and so on, and XDC as well because of R3 Corda. But ACH has more licensings and more contracts to their names than the majority of the crypto space. And also it's quite a big project in the Asian market space. CFX is a great also project inside the Asian market space. CFX is being used in some sort of Asian market spaces. Also, China's government and one of the provinces are looking into CFX in terms of their blockchain and so on. So, I mean, both of them have contracts, they have licenses, money transfer the licenses to their names. In that sense, especially from looking from a corporate perspective, how could they not do good? Is the genuine question you should be asking. Why Ton not listed on Binance and Coinbase? Ton is on Binance. Should be on Binance. Hit the like. Let's go, Messi. Ton should be on Binance. Now, Bitcoin as a safe haven is the next news to go from tonight's live show. And this perspective is coming from BlackRock. So, Bitcoin as a safe haven. BlackRock CEO exposes global economic crisis. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink recently addressed the group of the seven G7 leaders, G7 countries in other words. He highlighted a significant shift in the global financial system. Larry Fink emphasized the growing role of the capital markets as the primary source of private sector financing. This change signals a pressing need for a new strategies to unlock financial potential. In a keynote address, Larry Fink highlighted a pressing growth dilemma impacting emerging economics and established economic powers. He said, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank were created 80 years ago, when banks, not markets, finance things. Today, the financial world is flipped. The capital markets are the biggest source for private sector financing, not the banks, is what Larry Fink is saying now. So the tables have turned. Recent reforms have already yielded significant results, with billions of dollars fueled into the structure in developing countries. However, he emphasized the necessities for a new approach to unlocking capital, which differs from the traditional bank balance sheet models. As a result, Larry Fink announced the formation of the investor coalition BlackRock, GIP, and KKR, which will commit $25 billion to Asia's emerging economics. This initiative mirrors efforts in Africa aiming to stimulate economic growth through infrastructure investments. A lot of things are happening right now inside the Asian market space, also in Africa as well. But that is a humongous announcement to come out of BlackRock. BlackRock, GIP, and KKR are coming together to invest $25 billion in the Asian markets and in the African markets for this innovative situation of blockchain to go against essentially, because BlackRock's Larry Fink is saying that in the past, in 80 years down the road, essentially it was the banks controlling the game. He said now the financial markets, in terms of the market space, is carrying the game. And therefore, we are going to be the one to hedge against these failing banks and so on. So they're investing $25 billion, which is ridiculous, which is also extremely bullish. Now, the Chinese telecom giant company is buying Bitcoin mining equipment. This is quite big as well because China is obviously against the idea of Bitcoin mining and so on. However, there has been some news coming out, and I reviewed on this live show, that in some province in China, they are still mining Bitcoin within the law, which is something the Western media forgot to tell everybody when the news came out that China banned Bitcoin mining a very long time ago. So China's telecom giant Coolpad to drop $13.5 million on Bitcoin mining rigs. The Chinese telecom provider Coolpad Group is making a major bet on Bitcoin mining equipment, with an investment of about $13.5 million to purchase mining rigs for deployment in North America. The move in the Bitcoin mining marks a significant shift for Coolpad, which has traditionally focused on the highly competitive smartphone market. By diversifying into the crypto space, the company may be seeking to tap into a new revenue stream and hedge against potential downtrends in the core of its business. Coolpad's investment comes aimed at a broader trend of traditional companies exploring opportunities in the cryptocurrency industry. As Bitcoin and other digital assets gain mainstream acceptance, more firms are looking into getting on the action, either through direct investments or by offering crypto-related products and services to their customers. So, a giant Chinese telecom company is coming out and buying $13.5 million on Bitcoin mining equipment, and they're going to be deploying their Bitcoin mining, essentially, corporation in North America, ironically. But it's a Chinese company, and they're using these kinds of movements as loopholes. Now, and it also could be that this announcement is coming out maybe because of what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump recently said, and I revealed on this live show, that he wants the United States to be the backbone of Bitcoin mining. And he said, this is what Donald Trump said in his own words. He said, the rest of the Bitcoins to be mined should be mined inside the United States. Fast forward 4 or 5 days, this news comes out, which is basically China's telecom giant company investing into mining Bitcoin mining equipment and going to be setting it up in a warehouse type of situation, corporate type of situation in North America. So is China trying to get on the action in terms of, America becoming a bit more lenient on Bitcoin mining? Philadelphia Fed President Harker makes essentially a hot interest rate comment and announces rate cut forecast. So obviously we did have Jerome Powell coming out and giving out his perspectives and some data reports on the CPIs that we recently went through on this live show as well a few days ago, which did impact the market, making it a little bit volatile. But the Philadelphia Fed president has came out with his perspectives on the market space, the crypto market space, in terms of also rate cuts in that aspect. So before we go through that news, let's go to the comment section first. Mao's any SEC personnel must realize the potential of crypto in general by now, especially if all the moves are coordinated. So who or what will take over for the SEC? The SEC will still exist because it is there to actually protect people on the market space. But the SEC is rigged, highly rigged. We're going to find out later on who's pulling the strings for Gary Gensler, essentially. Later on, as time passes, we'll get a better understanding of who's been pulling the strings for Gary Gensler. The perception is that Elizabeth Warren has been pulling some strings, and some other high-profile people have been pulling the strings on Gary Gensler. But yes, a lot of people are leaving the SEC, and they tend to go towards cryptocurrency companies. I mean, for example, the person that worked in the SEC that sued Ripple at the beginning of the Ripple versus SEC. The person that worked in the SEC, he sued Ripple, he filed out the documentations, sued Ripple, and then 24 hours or 48 hours later, he resigned from the SEC. And then he opened up his own blockchain company. Just putting out there. The guy that sued Ripple day one from the SEC, about 48 hours later, he joined a blockchain company. So starting from that moment in time, the people that left the SEC over time, they all joined crypto platforms. Some just retired, and some started working in crypto law firms, ironically. Now, I just checked. Ton is not on Binance, and what's the reason Coinbase didn't list Ton? That is quite odd. I'll tell you right now. Maybe it's based on jurisdictions. Okay, I'll tell you right now. So Ton is listed. I think it might be due to jurisdictions. Ton is listed. Here we go. My bad. It's listed on BitGet. It's listed on Crypto.com exchange. It's listed on Bitsmart. It's listed on OKX exchange. It's on Gate.io. It's on. Should be on MEXC as well. Yeah. I was getting mine from OKX, but Crypto.com exchange, not Binance, my bad. It's on MEXC as well. Now, going back to that. If hold XRP forever and never sell, can you say how many XRP we should hold for generational wealth? Give us your prospects. Okay, easiest way to answer that question. You would look if you hold, let's just say, because a lot of people would message me, for example, in the comment section sometimes, and they would say, I don't have a lot of money, or so on. Not saying you don't have, but I'm just putting it out there in general. So some people will message me and say, I don't have a lot of money to go for cryptocurrencies and so on. Should I limit myself? And obviously you should, in terms of your budget would classify you how far you can diversify and so on. But in terms of XRP, the simplest way to put it is, if you are holding, let's just say, for example, 100 tokens or 1,000 tokens, let's just say 1,000 tokens, for example. If you hold 1,000 tokens of XRP and somebody else is holding 10,000 tokens of XRP, XRP goes to about $2, $2, $3, $4, and so on. The person that's holding 10,000 XRP would sell and jump out because it's been holding for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, and so on. He'll jump out. You would hold on and go through it because you're thinking about the end result in terms of the Bank of International Settlements. To cut a long story short, you would outperform somebody else holding $10,000, somebody else holding 10,000 XRP, because they would jump out and you would outperform them. So if you're thinking to yourself, some people say, well, I can't, people picture to themselves, I can't have 10,000 XRP. I don't have the money for it. I can't have 10,000, XDC or XLM or whatever cryptocurrencies. And you think to yourself, I can only afford 1,000 of these tokens. Is there even a point for generational wealth, or so on and so on? There is, because you can outperform people who hold more coins than you, because they will tend to jump out a lot more quicker. Especially on a project like XRP, people have been holding for 5 years. They will jump out when it gets to $2. Never mind 5. So even with 1,000 XRP tokens, you can outperform pretty much everyone. Not overnight, over time. Now, June liquidated many people for millions of dollars. I believe July will do some gains. Yes, true. On that aspect, the inflows and outflows. Thank you, Miles. Free forever, no problem, anytime. 1,000 XRP if you want to keep for the next 10 years. Yes. Hi, Miles. Trust you and yours are doing well. Kobe, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? How you been? Now, Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Fed president has given his perspectives on Fed rate cuts. Philadelphia Fed President Patrick Harker said today that the US Federal Reserve may cut its benchmark interest rates once a year, which is good for the crypto space, if its economic forecast comes true as expected. At an event hosted by the Regional Central Bank in Philadelphia, Harker outlined his baseline scenario of slowing but above trend economic growth, a modest increase in the essentially unemployment rate, and a long float for inflation towards the target. If all this happens as predicted, I think rate cuts by the end of the year would be appropriate, Harker said. The Fed kept interest rates unchanged at 5.25, 5.50% at its last week's policy meeting, which we went through on this live show at that particular time. This decision is a part of the Fed's ongoing efforts to bring inflation back to its 2% target rate. As of April, inflation was running at the annual rate of 2.7%, according to the Fed's preferred measures. While Harker welcomed last week's Consumer Price Index data, the CPI data that came through, he noted that the progress in inflation so far this year has been modest. Harker emphasized that given the general volatility in the economic environments, more data will be needed to be analyzed in the coming months before making a decision. Harker also argued that the Fed should keep its policies rate unchanged for now to reduce the upside risk. These include the potential long-term persistence of high inflation regarding housings and the persistently high inflation rate in the service sector, especially in the auto insurance and repairs. But Harker did not rule out essentially changing his views on the interest rates as more economic data becomes available. If the data changes one way or another, I see it as quite possible there will be 2 reductions or no reductions for this year. We will stick with the data, Harker said. So, Philadelphia Bank was essentially doing a massive event, and essentially Philadelphia's president regarding the Fed reports. The Fed president came out and gave a speech on how he thinks the rate cut situation is going to be. And by the looks of it, it's either going to be one rate cut, which is going to be at the end of the year, which is great because it's better for the crypto space. It will do a dent. If we do get a rate cut, there'll be a small dent in the crypto space, and then we'll pick up again, going back up. It'll just be a small dent, not a major dent. And the reason why it'd be a small dent, not a major dent, because in the past it would have been a major dent. But recently, because of all the corporates inside the cryptocurrency sector buying and holding, it causes a small dent compared to a major dent. But yeah, he's given out his reports. He's saying we could only be seeing one rate cut at the end of the year, or maybe none, or maybe two. I'm going to go with the one. I'm guessing that's what it's all headed towards. But it's not the outcome. It's an outcome to consider because he is the Fed president, essentially, from Philadelphia. And he was giving the speech at a banking committee. Now, CryptoPac endorses 18 more candidates for November's election. If you don't know what the CryptoPac is, the CryptoPac is essentially Coinbase, Ripple, Kraken, and a few other crypto platforms came together and essentially put down about roughly $175 million collectively as a group, $175 million for any politician that wants to become pro-crypto can have access to this $175 million donation. Not all at once to one person, but crumbs will be given to the politicians. And obviously politicians work on donations. Everybody knows that. People who work in real estate they're the only ones working on commission. Politicians actually work on commission too. It's just they're not that obvious about it. But they get quite obvious when their agendas become shown to the world. Now, so the CryptoPac has endorsed 18 more candidates for November's election. 18 more politicians are now seeing crypto as a viable option. Is it because they care about crypto and your viewpoints, or is it because of donations? Either way, it's helping the crypto space. The Stand with CryptoPac has endorsed 18 more candidates for the November elections. This list of endorsements compromises 15 incumbents and splits the votes to almost 50-50 ratio between the Democrats and the Republicans. The PAC is aimed at strengthening the supporters in the political field as an industry works to guarantee that the cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies remain supported inside the United States. Latest endorsements from the Stand with CryptoPac. New name ambassadors of the Stand with CryptoPac include Senator Christian. Senator Christian Gilbert of New York. She's a part of the PAC now, the Stand with CryptoPac. And Rick Scott of Florida. He's also part of the PAC now. And representatives of essentially Dan Goldman of New York, Young Kim of California, and other candidates have been endorsed by the PAC, include Blake Masters in Arizona for the House seat and Sarah McBride in Delaware for the same. The PAC has identified these candidates having a strong appreciation and commitment to expanding the use of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology inside the United States. In a recent tweet, Paul, the chief legal officer of Coinbase, even got involved. He highlighted the significance of the crypto vote, stating that the election could be influenced by a few voters in key states. He noted a large population of Americans engaged in digital assets and mentioned that the political positions on crypto may factor into voters' choices. The growing influence of crypto voters. Stand with CryptoPac revealed that more than 52 million people inside the United States own some form of digital currencies, and 87% of them want to replace the current financial system as it is. The PAC also pointed out that 45% of the surveyed would not vote for anti-crypto candidates. The recent approval of the Financial Innovation Technology for 21st Century Act that happened a while ago, also known as the FIT 21 by the House of Representatives, is evidence of the increasing on the issue to do with cryptocurrencies. The bill, which seeks to provide legal frameworks for cryptocurrencies and digital assets inside the United States, was approved by the comfort margin of 278 to 136 votes. Although it was sponsored by Republican lawmakers, it also was supported by a large number of Democrats. So, the PAC, the Stand with CryptoPac, has just landed itself 18 more politicians in different states to vote for cryptocurrencies. And also, Coinbase's study test that 87%, essentially 52 million people inside the United States hold cryptocurrencies. 87% of them want to replace the current financial system. 45% of them won't vote for somebody who's against cryptocurrencies, and so on. So all this is positive signs. If we do want crypto to work, then the politicians have to be in favor of it. But if it is, coordinated to happen, the politicians will become in favor either way. But they're all lining up for donations, and it is quite obvious. But it gets the job done. That's all that matters. We all know that the politicians don't understand what blockchain is, don't understand what a cryptocurrency wallet is, don't understand anything about blockchain in general. But and we all know they're only standing with crypto to have access to $178 million donation package. But who cares? It gets the job done. That's how you have to do it. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is ironically to this platform. The next news to go from tonight's live show is related to essentially to this platform, one of the platforms that's shown on this live show, which is X, which is Elon Musk's new platform. Now, before we go through that news, which is Elon Musk's platform launching a whole new, the everything app that it's going to be launching, we have some new updates we're going to go from tonight's live show. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section. There is somebody commenting, this is how you act when you have too much time on your hands, is like 50. And then my response is going to be, you look like you have too much time on your hands because you're taking time out of your day to put a comment like that. Who sounds more pathetic, me, who's helping people for free for over more than half a year, or you, who's taking time out of their day to put a comment like that? But I don't, a lot of people get angry at these types of people. This person's name is Robert Sterling. I don't get angry at these types of people at all. I feel sorry for Robert Sterling. I'm guessing Robert Sterling is broke. His sex life is not doing quite well for him either. And, he's just one dude sitting behind the computer, just typing comments away to make himself feel better about himself. So, people hate on people, they hate comments. I don't hate on hate comments. I feel sorry for people like Robert. Robert's life is, I'm guessing, pretty much pathetic and sad. Now, stop trying to have people lose money. Never did, never will. Robert, didn't your parents ever teach you not to judge people? Now, Miles, NESCC personals must read. Oh, we were here actually. I just checked. Here we go. Thank you, Miles. No problem. Hi, Miles. Just trusting you and doing well. What's your views on ZK, the platform, the crypto project? It's all right. Without naming it, 10,000 by 2027, higher or lower? Without naming it, 10,000 by 2027, very possible. Now, extremely possible. Stop trying. There we go. Someone was saying if Biden loses the election is because of Gary. Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban was the person coming out and saying that if Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, loses the election, which, I mean, let's just assume Sleepy Joe makes it that far to the election. He is extremely old and lost at the same time. And it's very odd because Joe Biden is pretty much the same age as Trump, but Trump can, speak, write his own name, sign a document. He knows what left and right is, and so on. Trump can sit, stand, talk, and so on. But Joe Biden struggles with everything pretty much. So let's just see if he makes it that far. And he's not put into a melted, care home, for example. Sorry about that, I missed your answer. Camel, what was, on progressing your question, extremely possible. Maybe he's a bot, could be possible. Haha, Miles, lol. Let's go Shelley, let's go McHugh, and let's go Pisces. I think Biden's poo pants will lose these elections. Yes, apparently Biden did defecate in his own trousers, which could also be possible. It is Biden, you never know. I mean, who isn't surprised he's made it this far? And I said this before as well. I said this before and I will always say it. If you ever feel down in your life, if you ever feel down in your life and you feel like your life's going nowhere, or for example, you want to start a business and you're doubting yourself, should I start a business? Should I not start a business? And you're doubting yourself, or you're doubting yourself about moving to a new city or a new country, just remember one thing. If you ever doubt yourself, just think about Joe Biden. That man can't speak, stand, walk, run, left, right. He can't do anything. That man can't stand, walk, talk, and he's the president of the most powerful, one of the most powerful countries on this planet. If that man can make it to the presidency seat once, let's see if he's gonna make it twice, and he can't stand, walk, talk, write, speak, think, and he's sitting on that seat, one of the most powerful seats on this planet, you could become a doctor, you could become an engineer, you could start up that business you ever thought about doing, but you were undoubtful about it. You could do whatever you want. You could become an astronaut. Because if Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, can make it that far in life, what's stopping you? Genuinely. Genuine question. If you're thinking about starting a business and you're thinking, I don't know, it's too much of a risk, or, you want to move to a new country, a new city, or get a new job, what's stopping you? Because if Sleepy Joe can make it that far, and he can't write, stand, speak, sit, move, he's sitting in the most powerful seats on this planet. One of the most powerful seats on this planet. You could do whatever you want in life. Honestly, you could become an astronaut, you could become a neuroscientist, do whatever you want. You should be using him as motivation, as, honestly. If he's made it that far, why haven't you? And think about it, you can speak. You can speak, you can walk, you can run, you can talk, you can think. He can't do none of those things. And he's sitting on one of the most powerful seats on this planet. So what's stopping you from reaching your dreams and goals in life when that guy can make it that far in life? Half of Biden voters are sitting on wheelchairs and they act like we don't see Biden's awareness decline. Let's go, Stormy. Now, Elon Musk. Elon Musk's Twitter to debut financial ecosystem in the US. So we've got some updates from the CEO of Twitter, or X. So the CEO of X, Linda, described payments functionalities as the fast approaching feature on Monday. The CEO of essentially Twitter, or X, did in front of a panel, did a one-on-one conversation. And she talked about the future of X, the future of payments and so on X on Monday. And which she said will transform the way millions of users engage with each other on the platform, also known as X. She said, we are actually redefining what users will come to rely on. By the way, she was doing this event at the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity in France. She went on to say the scope of her vision and the pace of the innovation at the company is like nothing I can describe. So apparently there's major things coming out of X, and she can't talk about it obviously because she signed quite a lot of things in terms of documentations, but there are major things coming out of X, so be prepared. She went on to say the CEO of X, by the way, the CEO of X was appointed as the CEO of Twitter last year following Elon Musk's acquisition of the company in 2022, tasked with turning the company around, tensions with advertisers. She also has been overseeing the social platform's expansion into technical areas like AI, audio calls, video streaming. The amount of information at users' fingertips on X has grown dramatically, with work done under the platform's hood. For example, she described the company's race to becoming a video-first platform as night and day compared to serving as the 140-character messaging app. The ability to oversee sweeping changes at the platform was a main reason Musk hired her a year ago. She said, early conversations between the two focused on helping accelerate the Everything app, a vision Elon Musk has for the platform that extends to the banking and even dating on X. A myriad of technical features allowing users to connect in different ways. The amounts of inflation and the dovetail with payments soon to come. There's so many new things to experience, she continued saying. Think about that. Once we launch payments, we'll start in the US, the financial system will emerge on that platform. The company made progress on payments when it obtained 3 money transfer licenses last July, and while Musk, a well-known Dogecoin essentially advocate, has signaled that he wants the feature to primarily involve the currencies, is reportedly being built in a way to support crypto payments in the future. Yes, when X does transform into a financial app, apparently first it's going to be fiat and then shifting over to cryptocurrencies. But according to the CEO of essentially X, major things are in play. This is a speech. This is like a speech that she did give on Monday regarding what's going to be happening on X, and big things are on the way. And X is definitely aiming for that everything app, where it's not just going to be about payments; it's going to be about video calling. Essentially a video complete app. X is apparently going to become like a YouTube app as well, a dating app, a financial app, and so on. Is what she was talking about at this panel. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is XRP officially decouples from Bitcoin? Question mark. Before we go through that on tonight's live show, let's go into that comment section first. Fancy having him in charge of the button? Oops. Now, XRP officially, as read Shelly's comment in the comment section. XRP officially decouples from Bitcoin? Question mark. Ripple affiliated XRP cryptocurrency has managed to decouple from Bitcoin, the largest digital asset by market cap, after months of underperformance. The XRP/BTC pair is up as much as 7% on the Binance exchange over the last 24 hours. It is now on track to record essentially the biggest spike against Bitcoin since March 11th. Back then, it sold by a whopping 13% against the leading cryptocurrency with a single day. Despite XRP's recent gains, it is worth noting that the Ripple affiliated cryptocurrency is still down more than 70% against Bitcoin since last August. This makes it one of the worst performing alternative cryptocurrencies on this bull market. That said, XRP's underperformance might not be as bad as it looks at first glance, given that it saw a massive rally after Ripple's legal win in July 2023 before retracting those gains. While it is not immediately clear why XRP is suddenly leaving Bitcoin in the dust, recent developments is probably because of the SEC versus Ripple case that might explain its bullish sentiment, and that Ripple cited the Terraform Labs case to argue against the penalties and fines sought by the SEC. The case is expected to reach its long-awaited resolution. And moreover, the company is preparing to wade into the stablecoin market with its own Ripple RLUSD, dollar-backed cryptocurrency, even though Ripple's pivot to the stablecoin market was initially portrayed as a bearish development for XRP when it isn't, by some moron analysts. The company's executives were quick to dismiss such concerns. So, the reasons of Ripple decoupling itself. Now, decoupling is going to happen, not just for Bitcoin. Not just for XRP, but decoupling is going to happen. A lot of people will, inside the crypto sector, are still picturing the crypto sector as Bitcoin only, Bitcoin only, Bitcoin only. A Bitcoin moves, everything moves together. Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down together. This is how people still picture the crypto market happening for our lifetime, which is not going to be the case anymore. As we shift over the corporations and regulations coming in, the market won't just be moving with Bitcoin, we're going to be moving with utility. This is why I say it's not just XRP that's going to be decoupling. It's going to be quite a lot of crypto projects decoupling and going on their own separate paths inside the crypto sector. The main logical point is contracts. For example, AVAX, has the contracts, for example, that Bitcoin doesn't have on their subnet green with JP Morgan and essentially Citibank and a few other major players. Also, Spain's markets essentially giving AVAX a green light for tokenization purposes. So AVAX will be going on a separate path. XRP will be going on its own separate path as well due to their money transfer licensings in the financial space they're going to be in. And, Cardano is going to go to a separate path. Cardano is actually being used by Middle Eastern countries inside their police forces for data storage and so on. But there are some major things happening in terms of the utility aspect of cryptocurrency. Even Chainlink is going to go to a separate path as well. A lot a lot of crypto projects are going to be decoupling themselves from Bitcoin the moment their utilities start getting used on a daily basis, on a regular basis, essentially. They're going to start decoupling themselves from Bitcoin because everybody just assumes, and they completely forgot that the main purpose of crypto was utility, and that utility is coming into play now because we have more crypto, we have more corporates, more companies inside the crypto sector than ever before. Banks inside the crypto sector than ever before. We also have essentially more regulations inside the crypto sector than ever before. We have more ETFs happening inside the crypto sector than ever before in different jurisdictions and so on. There's a lot of things happening that never happened inside the crypto sector from ever before. So, and the main purpose of cryptocurrencies was obviously utility, which is going into play right now. In terms of cross-border payments, that's happening. Yesterday, 17 Italian banks concluded their testings on CBDCs for cross-border payments. China and Hong Kong conclude their testings for cross-border payments as well. So in terms of cross-border payments, that's going to be happening. That's a utility factor from one particular cryptocurrency project, XRP Ripple. And as I said before as well, because, the crypto section, we have the AI section, lots of competition. The gaming section in crypto, lots of competition. The Web3 section, lots of competition. Data section, lots of competition inside the crypto sector. But there's only one project doing CBDCs, and they have a CBDC platform, and it's actually been launched in a few countries, which is Ripple. And it's also the only one that's on the Bank of International Settlements alongside SWIFT on a title document called Cross-Border Payments. So you can't get more logical and evidence than that on the Bank of International Settlements, which is the banks of all central banks of G20 countries. And I've said this previously before as well, a lot of people who assume Ripple is not XRP and XRP is not Ripple, and that could just be Ripple payments and not XRP. Ripple released a document on their own website, a Q&A of how they're going to be using XRP, question by answer and step by step of how they're going to be using XRP. And Ripple Payments, it states on their own website, is going to be utilizing it as well in every aspect regarding XRP. They stated it as a Q&A. But yeah, a lot of crypto projects in general are going to be decoupling themselves. And that's due to, one, utility, two, their contracts. Because the contracts that AVAX has, Bitcoin doesn't have. The contracts that Ripple and XRP have, essentially Bitcoin doesn't have. The contracts that Ethereum has, Bitcoin doesn't have. The contracts that Cardano has, Bitcoin doesn't have. The contracts, and so on, as the list goes on. But you will see the utility coming in, and a lot of projects decoupling themselves from Bitcoin and going on their own paths in terms of their utility being used. Now, don't just picture the market as Bitcoin forever. No. The more we go towards a digital sector, the more the world shifts into a digital era, the more regulations we get, the more we go into real world assets, the more we go into cross-border payments and so on, the more the decoupling will start to happening. Now, Michael Saylor, as XRP was doing these climbing movements today, and also regarding Ripple's stablecoin or LUSD, the speculation basically is that Tether is getting scrutinized by the EU. It's not really a speculation. Tether is being scrutinized by the EU, but Tether, doesn't want to be compliant with the EU either. So, OKX was the first exchange to delist essentially USDT for the EU by the end of the month. They already delisted it. A few other exchanges delisted as well. Kraken is going to wait till the last minute. Binance is going to wait till the last minute. Uphold exchange also delisted USDT for EU citizens. Now, here's the thing. If Uphold is going to be delisting them for the EU citizens, and Kraken has to follow through and Binance has to follow through as well, and OKX and so on, would that spread over to the United Kingdom, where the UK government will say, Tether has to become full transparent with us. They have to hold some of their assets in UK banks for them to be able to operate in the UK and so on. Tether won't do that because they never did that in the EU either. That's why they're not going to be used in the EU. So could the Western market, slowly decouple itself from USDT? Because it looks like it's en route to decouple itself from USDT. And it's starting with the EU market space. Regarding the MiCA regulations, which is very simple, Tether has to become transparent, which is they have to hold some of their assets in EU banks, so that when EU citizens start buying USDT, the EU government can say, okay, you have assets and reserves to back it. We can see it because you're holding some of it with us. So if anything goes south, the EU's economy wouldn't just go, basically. because you have an asset that's being backed. So imagine Terraform Labs. When Terraform Labs crashed, it took half the market space with it. Imagine USDT crashes and it's being used in the EU. It would just go for the EU's economy, essentially, if it's been implemented throughout. Tether doesn't want to become full transparent, which raises alarms all over the place on, do you even have backings, is the main question. Now, the thing is right now is that with Uphold delisting USDT for the EU, OKX delisting, Kraken, Binance pretty much next, and a lot of other exchanges have done the same thing. Is this the start of the Western market decoupling itself from USDT, with the EU being the first one to start it off? Let's see how things plan out after the MiCA regulations at the end of this month, because USDT should not be operating in the MiC, basically in the EU market space, but Binance and Kraken are going to stretch it as long as they can before delisting. The other exchanges said no problem, and they sent out emails to everyone saying they're delisting them for EU citizens. Now, and then Ripple's RLUSD token should be essentially taken. Regarding Ripple's USD token, the real USD they're calling it, it has full backings. Ripple said they're going to show full transparency every month. They're going to show their reserves every month, which something, again, Tether struggles with. So, is Ripple's USD going to be taken over to USDT? I could potentially say in the EU market space, it definitely could, because they're launching it. So this is the year gets pushed out, not dumped on, because I don't think they want to dump on USDT in any sort of a way or depeg it. But I said originally that they might phase it out. If anybody remembers me saying this, essentially, I said that they will phase out USDT rather than make it dump, because the corporates won't let that happen, because they'll take a hit as well. They're holding too much on crypto assets. For example, not just the ETFs, but also Grayscale, or a few companies like Grayscale that have a cryptocurrency portfolio, so they'll take a dent, and they don't want that. And I said, personally, to me, it seems like almost they're going to phase it out later on, which the EU could be the first step of phasing out USDT, and something else has to take its role. USDC is not capable of taking over USDT, because USDC has depegged once, and it doesn't have the reserves as, essentially USDT claims it has, or Ripple actually has. So we need another stablecoin to take the route, which is going to be Ripple stablecoin. Because as much as people want to hate on XRP or you want to hate on Ripple, you know for a fact that when Ripple comes out with a stablecoin, it's never going to depeg, and Ripple has the money to back it. Now, based on what the XRP movement was doing today, Michael Saylor wanted to come out and give his speech on BTC, just to reassure everyone, and just to say, don't forget about Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, Bitcoin's dip is an opportunity, not a setback, he said. MicroStrategy, their co-founder and Bitcoin advocate, Michael Saylor, has addressed the recent dip in Bitcoin's price, emphasizing the importance of long-term perspectives and viewing market fluctuations as potential opportunities. His comments underscores the need for long-term thinking in Bitcoin investments, forming market corrections as opportunities rather than setbacks. Michael Saylor's proactive approach resonated with the crypto community, where discussion centers on managing volatility while essentially remaining confident in Bitcoin's future potential. Under Michael Saylor's leadership, MicroStrategy continues its August 2020 goal to strategically acquire Bitcoin. The company recently announced plans to raise a substantial $700 million through convertible senior notes to purchase more BTC. These funds demonstrate MicroStrategy's long-term beliefs. Despite short-term price volatility, the capital will support MicroStrategy's Bitcoin investments and cover operating costs. After a period of outflows, $101 million flowed into Bitcoin's based exchange-traded funds, ETFs last week, signaling a renewed investor interest. During this period, Bitcoin experienced a price dip to around $65,180, followed by a minor recovery to roughly $66,900. Despite this volatility, institutional interest in Bitcoin remains strong, bolstered by innovations such as MicroStrategy's ongoing accumulation strategy, Michael Saylor's guidance underscores Bitcoin's evolving role as a financial asset and MicroStrategy's strategic approach amidst market uncertainty. He just wanted to come out and say, please don't forget about Bitcoin while the market is down. Nobody's going to forget about Bitcoin. Don't worry, Michael Saylor. Every time Bitcoin goes just a little bit down, Michael Saylor will send out a tweet and just say, Bitcoin is still going to be around. Bitcoin is the future. Bitcoin is brewing for the storm. He always does these quotes, Michael Saylor, which again, Michael Saylor is an incredibly intelligent person, incredibly, wealthy, smart man. His company's doing incredibly well. MicroStrategy, MSTR stock. So, but yes, nobody's going to forget about Bitcoin. Don't worry. Every time it just dips a little bit, he'll come up with some sort of a quote to reassure everyone. Now, also, in terms of what he said on the basis of when Bitcoin is in a dip, it's an opportunity. Yes or no? I'll be very simple. When Bitcoin dips, is it an opportunity? Yes or no? If you have a lot of money, why not? If you want to. If you really, really want to, why not? If you don't have a lot of money, which the majority of the retail section don't have, which is perfectly fine. In my perspective, if you have a small budget, don't even bother looking at Bitcoin. If you have a medium budget, don't even bother looking at Bitcoin. If you have a large budget, go wild. Do whatever you want inside the crypto space. But small, medium, don't even look at Bitcoin. If you have a small or medium budget, don't even look at Bitcoin. There's no point. Because if you have an extremely large budget, go wild. Do whatever you want inside the market space. Extremely large budget. If you have small, medium, don't bother. Extremely large, go wild. But also, here's the thing: you can make a lot of money, in my perspective, based on not financial advice in any sort of a way, but based on the token supply of other crypto assets, you can make a lot of money in returns. So, with the money that you're going to be putting in Bitcoin, because people will put $1,000 in Bitcoin, for example. Some people will put $1,000 into Bitcoin and say, yes, I'm sorted. Now let me go for some altcoins or so on. Bad idea. Some people will put $5,000 in Bitcoin. Bad idea. 10,000, also bad idea. 20,000, also bad idea. Even holding one Bitcoin, if you really want to, but with that one Bitcoin, you can flip it into altcoins. You can do a lot of things. So, with Michael Saylor coming out and saying Bitcoin's dip is an opportunity, look, if you're from the retail section and you're buying Bitcoin, you're only going to be making money for people like Michael Saylor. I'll be very honest. Because he's advocating for an asset that is way above what the retail section can afford to even roll down a profit on it. And you're just adding to the pot for people like Michael Saylor. Instead, you could be going for altcoins. Based on the token supply, you could do incredible things. You create generational wealth. So yeah, even if you have 1 or 2 or 3 Bitcoins, you could do a lot more inside the altcoin space. Based on the token supply. And it goes back to what I created a very long time ago. A very long time ago, inside the crypto space, I created a game for myself when I was trading, which was essentially the playing with the token supply, not for meme coins back then, not for meme coins, legitimate projects, but playing with the token supply essentially. The more I can squeeze out of it is what I was going for, which gives out the best returns, to be fairly honest. Now, Ethiopia is the next news to go from tonight's live show, but before we go through it, let's go inside the comment section. This is a major shakeout, therefore it is so impressive to know what you hold. Facts. Yeah, regarding major shakeouts, definitely facts. The corporate section is not coming in to play, to mess about. They're coming in for serious. Is it okay to have longs in futures trading using USDT for now? I'm in Sweden and KuCoin still allows it. If they still allow it, why not? Sure. When LXRP, you mean RLXRP, is released, it will gone, or will it be on its way out? I mean the stablecoin. Maybe he's just trying to Regarding Ripple stablecoin, when it gets released, is it going to do well? Yes, definitely well. Reason why the market is dumping is not the sell pressure, is because unlocking more tokens and essentially realizing it into the market. Yes, that is also one major reason why that is happening inside the market space, but also because some outflows are still happening. Some people still got liquidated. Some people put long positions down when the market was down, which is what generally people will do when the market is down. They'll put some long positions down as well, and they got liquidated as well. I mean, the Ripple still, yeah. No, I mean once I get released, Tether will be gone. Once the Ripple stablecoin gets released, Tether will be gone. As in phased out, yes. In the Western markets, it definitely seems like it's happening. It's on the way of progress. Maybe he's just reassuring himself, not anybody else. Lol. Regarding Michael Saylor, possibly. It shows you, Miles, how long the corruption can last, i.e. USDT. What company or institutions could possibly want to deal with an organization that won't be compliant with law when it's coming into effect? Facts. Freedom Forever, what you've just put inside the comment section, word for word, absolute facts. Freedom Forever said, the first comment on the comment section, it shows you, Miles, how long the corruption can last, i.e. USDT. What company or institution could possibly want to deal with an organization like USDT, for example, that won't become compliant with the law when it's coming into an effect? Facts. Tether thinks they're above the law. They started criticizing the EU and said, how can you say this and how can you bring out these regulations and the MICA? Who is Tether to even be questioning the European government? Is the first answer. And I said this before, the last person that bravely went against the EU government was CZ. And I've always said CZ, respect the man, intelligent man, and he did a lot of things positive for the crypto space. But he was the last man that went against the EU market space and lost his company. He went to prison, $4 billion fine, because pretty much after that, the US got involved and that $4 billion fine came through. But, the EU said, if you want to operate in the EU, you have to delist privacy coins. Everybody said, no problem. All exchanges are on board to abide by regulations in the EU. CZ said, I'll think about it. Came back and said no to the EU and said, people should have a choice, which I agree with. But you're saying this to the EU government, thinking you have some sort of power and authority against the EU government, which in reality you don't, because about 2 weeks later he got investigated, about a month later or so on. Everybody knows the story: $4 billion fine, CZ prison, and so on. But Tether is playing the same risky situation with the EU. The EU said, these are our regulations, you have to abide if you want to be in the EU. Tether said, no, your regulations make no sense, we won't abide, and so on, started criticizing it. As I said, the last man that went against the EU lost his company about 2 weeks after he's been investigated, and so on and so on. And that was CZ. Let's see how that plans out for Tether. Because a lot of people forget it's not just about money. Honestly, if you're not a part of the circle, you're not a part of the circle. It's not just about money. It was never just about money with these types of people, with regulators essentially. With people like the Bank of International Settlements, who are setting the precedented moves, with the International Monetary Fund, with the World Economic Forum. If you're not part of the circle, you're not part of the circle. That's just how it goes. So you better start abiding by the regulations, or they'll replace you. They replace CZ with a member from the World Economic Forum. They replace Binance US CEO with a member from the World Economic Forum. Coincidence or coordinated? Now, Ethiopia, yesterday on the slideshow, I revealed that China concluded their testings with Hong Kong and so on for cross-border payments. Italy, getting ready for cross-border payments. Ethiopia is the next country on this list. Ethiopia takes the first step towards CBDCs and economic reforms. The National Bank of Ethiopia, NBE, has prepared 2 proclamations as a part of an economic reform plan. One of them includes the establishment of legal frameworks for introducing a central bank digital currency, CBDC. The Council of Ministers has approved the proclamations essentially and will soon be introduced in the House of Representatives. The policy changes foreseen by the NBA proclamation include creating a legal framework for a CBDC as necessary, as well as increasing the NBA's capital and creating a legal basis for consumer protection. The accompanying banking business proclamation addresses liberalizations of foreign investments in banking, corrective measures regarding problem banks, and the creation of a regulatory sandbox for innovative financial solutions. A sandbox is basically where jurisdictions come and test out blockchains before they're implemented on a global, on a essentially domestic basis, not international, but domestic within their own jurisdictions. The UK has a digital sandbox, and Hong Kong has one, the EU has one, Dubai has one, Singapore has one, Japan has one, Australia has their own version, and so on. The United States is actually going to be sharing the sandbox with the United Kingdom, where they test out crypto platforms before they implement it domestically or internationally in some cases because of those two. But the central bank has brought reforms in mind. The proclamation are part of the government's homegrown economic reform agendas. The privately owned Ethiopian newspaper, The Reporter, mentioned the government's interest in a CBDC in April. It said a study would be launched in June. It added that the NBE also aims to join the cross-border payment system, which is a big topic right now because of all the Bank of International Settlements pressure, by December. It did not provide a specific about the system it's going to be using, but we can all take a guess. If it's the Bank of International Settlements, we know who's working with them. Ethiopia has already taken steps, economic liberalizations, including endings the state monopoly on mobile money services. The country already uses blockchain-based digital infrastructure for large government payments. The country already uses blockchain in general, but Africa has mixed experience with crypto. Crypto adoption is making headways in several African countries despite barriers such as low internet penetration. Not all attempts to introduce crypto have been successful. Notably, the Central African Republic adapted Bitcoin as a currency and launched a non-CBDC government cryptocurrency called the Sanga with a limited success. The Sanga currency website is not functional at the time of writing. The digital currencies remain illegal in Ethiopia, although the licensings of dozens of data mining farms have sought to take advantage of the country's cheap electricity to mine cryptocurrencies. Plans were also in place to introduce Web3 fused payment systems there as well. At least 18 African countries are researching CBDCs. Nigeria has had mixed luck with the E90, which launched in 2022 as the world's second live CBDC. Zimbabwe used a government-issued gold-based token as the foundation for the introduction of its latest currency as well. So, what's happening right now in terms of Ethiopia, in terms of cross-border payments? A lot of things are happening inside the cross-border payments section right now. Too many things are happening. A lot of countries are coming to the endings and they're concluding their testings of cross-border payments, and they're getting ready for some movement happening. Now, with the EU also moving forward on the MiCA regulations, it's a good start there for cross-border payments to be happening. In terms of Italy, for example, they've just concluded their testings as well with 17 banks. So a lot of countries are getting ready for CBDCs heavily. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's quite easy to tell who is for CBDCs. 24,000 crypto projects, some in AI, some in gaming, some in data, some in Web3, but only one crypto project is actually doing CBDCs. There's no competition for this one crypto project. It has a CBDC platform. It's doing CBDCs. It's launched in a few countries. Ripple, XRP. There's 24,000 crypto projects. In the cryptocurrency sector for AI, there's competition. Gaming, there's competition. Web3, there's competition. Data, there's competition inside the crypto sector. There's so many AI and gaming and data and Web3 projects out there. There's so much competition happening, even in lending and borrowing, so on. But only one crypto project is doing CBDCs and has a CBDC platform and has money transfer licensings and is on the PDF document titled Cross-Border Payments for Bank of International Settlements, SWIFT, Ripple. There's virtually no competition when it comes to CBDCs, which, according to the Bank of International Settlements, 98% of central banks are in CBDCs, wholesale CBDCs. Just putting it out there. And some people would say, well, that can have no relevance and so on. But the contracts will speak, you know, wonders, essentially, in terms of evidence, contracts, in terms of evidence, the PDF token from the Bank of International Settlements, in terms of evidence, Ripple using XRP, their own website, it states it on a Q&A. In terms of evidence of, you know, is it going to be changing the financial landscape? Well, the contracts will tell you, you know, what you need to know. So with the Bank of International Settlements, the banks of all central banks of G20 countries, 63 centralized banks. But also the evidence of the partnerships that are going on as loopholes with Ripple as well. For example, the German bank or the Austrian bank and so on, you know, being partnered with Bitpanda, for example. A lot of people would, you know, said that has no relevance. Bitpanda partnered with a German bank. How's that relevant to Ripple? Well, the main central bank of Germany could have partnered with one of the biggest banks in Germany. They could have partnered with Coinbase, which is a bigger exchange than Bitpanda. They could have partnered with Crypto.com, bigger exchange than Bitpanda, but they partnered with Bitpanda, who's ironically a Ripple partner. Coincidence or coordinated? Because if you think about it logically, they could have partnered with Coinbase, which is a much more larger platform. They could have partnered with Crypto.com, much more larger platform. They chose Bitpanda. And they weren't the only ones in terms of banks. Remember, Ripple does not sell XRP directly. They sell it through their subsidiaries. Now, AI candidate. Here is some unusual news. It's all about control. Facts, it is. Here's some unusual news. Inside the United Kingdom, AI candidate, an AI politician, UK government. An AI candidate runs for UK Parliament. No word of a lie. An AI candidate runs for UK Parliament. Could this be the future of politics? Humans being run with AI. An artificial intelligent chatbot called AI Steve will compete for voters in the UK's general election on July 4th, aiming to become the first AI member of Parliament. AI Steve is backed by Steve Encott, a local entrepreneur and a political hopeful, and will run as an independent candidate in the Brighton and Hove constituency in the southeast of England. You might think this is hysterical. You might think, you know, this is absurd. How can we have an AI politician in Parliament in the UK? He makes some good points, I'll be honest. Well, we're going to go through them right now, what he said. So, according to Encott's website, voters can chat with AI Steve online to learn about existing policies as well as express their opinions to create a new policy. The AI lawmaker will considerate this feedback, which will be presented in Parliament by the real Steve. If elected, Encott will also physically attend meetings and vote on policies as guided by the chatbot, which is you, the citizens of the UK. AI aims for policies by the people for the people. Steve Encott self-describes as a capitalist with socialist consensus. The British businessman made his money running a holiday tour operator by travel before venturing into politics. In 2022, he reportedly competed in a local council election in Rochdale under the Conservative Party and lost. He now chairs a Neural Voice, the AI company that created AI Steve. AI Steve, this is what he said. Not even joking, this is what he said. AI Steve AI Steve was created to ensure that the people of Brighton and Hove had 24/7 access to leave opinions and create policies. Steve Encott said on his website, policies for the people by the people. Long Du, the CEO of AI-powered gaming platform, said while it was premature for artificial intelligence to fully take over political roles, its use in the aspects of democratic processes could improve the effectiveness of the governance, essentially Du told. the cryptopolitan, essentially the news company that he was talking to, doing an interview with. He said one of the most significant advantages of AI Steve in governance is the potential to minimize human biases, providing more objective and data-driven decisions making processes. Which is basically trying to say that AI Steve doesn't accept political donations because he's an AI robot. There's no benefits. As a human being, if a company comes and says to you, we'll give you this political donation, start doing things in our favor, the human politician will take that donation and start pulling strings. AI Steve doesn't accept political donations. So he can't be brought by anyone. So, however, this continued of the transparency and fairness of AI's underlying code, the integration of AI in politics must be accompanied by robust oversight mechanisms to maintain public trust and ensure that technology serves a public good, he added. Long Du also spoke about how artificial intelligence could also improve the efficiency of governance by processing vast amounts of information quickly and accurately. For example, arbitration decisions made by AI Steve can reduce delays and increase consistency in legal rulings, he said. So, what does everybody think about AI Steve? If you were given the option of a human politician that can be easily brought by political donations, or an AI Steve politician, who would you choose? The AI Steve that listens to people's feedbacks 24/7 and then bases policies on what the people have said to him? Or would you rather prefer a human politician that accepts political donations and pulls strings for favors for their companies? That's backing them in donations. Just honestly, I want to know, just out of curiosity, who would you vote for if you had a choice of a human politician that could be easily brought and sold with political donations, or an AI politician that works on human feedback? Who are you choosing? Right now, inside the comment section, put your answer. Who are you choosing? AI Steve or a human politician? I just want to know, out of curiosity, who would people choose? Do you think after the next G20 meeting, country will come out and announce the launch of CBDCs officially? I think so. Highly possible. Interesting concept, definitely, Shelly. It definitely is an interesting concept. Facts. AI all the on the way. Let's go. Elect Steve. Susie will choose Steve. Mike will choose AI. JP will choose AI. So I'm guessing everyone's going to go for AI. I'm guessing so. I don't think anybody will want a human politician because human politicians are useless. At least, knowing that the AI Steve can't be brought. I vote for no politicians. I don't care if human or AI. Chozone, okay. Chozone comes out with an interesting perspective. Human. Bone Crusher chooses human. Okay. It's not an option that I would consider. It's not an option that I would consider. Okay, Iman. That's okay. Until one party with an agenda sends in loads of views to influence the outcome. Butch, interesting thinking. Um, I like the way everybody's thinking in terms of the angles everybody's coming in. Regarding Butch saying, essentially um, another the other party could be sending a flux of information to the AI chatbot to bring out mixed reviews. Some even chose on saying that he just prefers no politicians in general. Interesting perspectives. Honestly, everyone's going through. Well, I think it's a great idea. However, if the people are only inputting one-sided views, then that wouldn't be the AI be biased towards this? Possible. But I think they're definitely going to do something regarding the biased situation. Most likely he's going to do something regarding the biased situation. AI Steve operating on ICP or Utopia will have transparency, operating blockchain, and smart contracts only with DAO governance by the token holders, AI Steve should have a crypto coin as well. That would be quite interesting. Maybe we can save on some taxes. Lol. Yes, the number one input I will be putting if AI Steve becomes real is no more taxes, no more taxes, no more taxes, no more taxes, back to back. Miles, you wouldn't be the voters for AI. The vote is for AI. Let's go, Leroy. Miles, you wouldn't know which AI to vote for since both parties would no doubt have also AI. Yeah. Human controls the AI. No, well, here's the thing. On that part, Bone Crusher, the human isn't really controlling the AI. So the AI is full transparency. So AI Steve is full transparency. So the inputted data can be shown to other people 24/7 as well. And people can vote and so on, and people's votes are public. And the human is just taking that information and going as a human representative to the parliament with the information the AI chatbot has. So the human is technically just a delivery man for the AI Steve. The voters for AI Steve can provide guidance for this politician. I would vote for AI Steve. But if we get rid of the politicians, we can save on taxes too. Yes, if we get rid of politicians, we can save on taxes too. That's true as well. I'm thinking the same as Butch. Okay, Shelly. Everyone's got mixed opinions about this. Interesting, but the perspectives are quite interesting that everyone's having right now. Wow, how dangerous AI Steve could take over, especially if more intelligent than us. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. We're definitely going to be leading into iRobots or Terminator at one point if we do. Is this the start of AI Steve and AI so on and so on as an AI politician in the UK Parliament? Is it going to really happen? If people vote for him, AI Steve could become a reality. But let's see how that plans out. But genuinely, the perspectives were quite interesting that everyone has. Everyone was thinking outside the box about it, which was interesting perspectives. Now, we have come to the endings of this live show. So I just want to leave you with some unusual news there. The UK politicians, one of them could be a AI. Let's face it, it's all corrupt, so they'd find a way to infiltrate it. I'm not sold on it. Fair enough. I think Microsoft will probably buy out AI Steve. And that's it. If Bill Gates gets his hands on AI Steve, forget about it. If the Biden team was smarter, they wouldn't have created an AI version of Sleepy Joe. People would believe it was actually him putting together a few sentences correctly, which is a fair point, advices. AI operating on computer cloud doesn't provide consumers or vote protection. No, AI Steve, yeah, that's true. AI Steve, I'm guessing is going to be operating on a blockchain. My God, Miles, anything would be better. Fair enough. So, I wanted to leave everybody with some thinking news towards the end of the live show. Will they call him Micro Steve? Makes sense, Micro Steve. Miko Steve. Very interesting proposal. Thanks for the knowledge, Miles. See you tomorrow. Sempre see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Maybe politicians be out of a job soon. That will be a day to celebrate. Imagine politicians becoming jobless. The people that ruin everyone's lives become jobless, and AI takes over. Even though the endings of AI taking over politics could be Terminator, it's better than politicians. Governments shouldn't mandate transparencies. DAO inputs, no cloud on ICP. Fair enough. Good night, Miles. See you tomorrow. Mike, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Yeah, even if, regarding politicians, if we do choose AI and the ending is either iRobot or Terminator, I will take that any day over politicians. Good night, Miles and CMF. Thank you for all the news and great live. If you get a minute, Miles, can you look at my DM? Please, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, JP, I'll take a look at it. Oops, Steve doing your job tomorrow. Steve doing your job tomorrow. Now, on this live show, if you tuned in late, this is called the CMF live show. I do this live show every single night at this exact same time you're watching me. It starts around 11:25 p.m. onwards, UK time. on X and YouTube at the exact same time. And the news that we covered on tonight's live show was AI Steve, which is a new concept being introduced in politics. We talked about Ethiopia regarding CBDCs. We talked about Michael Saylor's perspective on Bitcoin. We talked about the XRP situation that's happening right now. We talked about Elon Musk and the X platform and the Ripple, essentially the X CEO. We talked about the crypto pack endorsements of 18 new politicians added to it. We talked about the Philadelphia Fed reports, essentially. We talked about the Chinese telecom giant company that's coming in Bitcoin mining equipment. We talked about Haven coming from a perspective from BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. We also talked about the ex-SEC member, essentially the SEC member leaving after 9 years, leaving Gary Gensler by himself. We talked about Tether launching a synthetic dollar on tokenization platform. Tether has launched a tokenization platform for the retail section and for the institutional section. We talked about Coinbase rolling out a pre-launch crypto market for global traders. I also talked about essentially the crypto trading firm Cumberland securing a New York license as well on this live show. So that's all the things that we talked about on tonight's live show. This has been episode 90. So for 90 days, back to back, every single day, I've showed up and talked about the most recent news that's happening every single day on this live show. This is 90 days now, back to back on YouTube and X. Not this, which I enjoy every second of it, to be fairly honest. Thanks, Miles. Good night and day to all. Miles, get some rest to recover and recharge. Let's go. Shelly, thanks so much for camels. I definitely will. Good night, Miles. Bone Crusher, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Butch, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. JP, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Scott, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Shelly, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Coin, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. If you're watching this live show for the first time ever and you enjoyed it, drop a follow, drop a like, and even drop a comment if you want. Retweet it if you're watching us on X, and like it if you're watching us on X, or like it if you're watching us on YouTube, and drop a comment if you want. It helps to spread the video. If you don't like it, drop a thumbs down if you want to. That still helps with the comment section. I will see everybody tomorrow. And by the way, if you are new on this live show every single night, I talk about the newest news coming out of cryptocurrencies, AI, regulations, CBDCs, politics, everything that plays into this whole digital world that's coming towards us. So you can tune into the most recent news that's happening around the world. So if you enjoy this live show, drop a like. Now, we have reached the endings of tonight's live show. Great live, Mouse. Have a great night, and have a great 24 hours. Free and forever. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Thanks, Mouse. Good night, CMF. Ghost Burner. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Mikul. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. And we also have a Telegram group as well, which is completely free. Everything I provide is completely free. And the link is on my X profile and on my YouTube, depending on where you're watching us from. But there's a Telegram group as well for the CMF for this live show. Amazing people, they're all inside the comment section, and it's completely free. And I don't promote anything, and I don't sell anything either. I've never did, and I never will. Education should always remain free. If you enjoy this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. CMF, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Great job, Mouse. Scott, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. Emo, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual.